Where's the thing?
Coming to you every week from no place in particular, this is the Forever Road Podcast featuring Bosco. He's a music lover, a historian, and a connoisseur of the obscure. Find us on some great platforms like iHeart and Spotify, and even more as we keep growing. Now, pointed down that forever road are your hosts. Here is Mr. Worldwide, Will Craig, and Bosco.
Yeah, welcome to Forever Road Podcast. Season 2, episode 13. We
Lucky
are
13?
here. Yes, Lucky 13, which oddly enough is an odd number for the topic we're going to discuss this evening. We got some new updates, everybody. Would you like to fill our what's going on, brothers and sisters? Happy Sunday, as a matter of fact. Live once again from nowhere in particular on the YouTubes. I don't know why I always said S. I have no idea. You want to update everybody on what our future plans are now that we have some news
Like what?
going
What
forward
future
about
plans? Oh, we're gonna kind of set up, have certain topics each week. Kind of have a rotation every month. Kind of have a certain schedule almost. And if you guys who watch like it, let us know. And if you don't, let us know even more. Tell me, hey, this shit sucks. Ooh, sorry, YouTube. Oops, I'm not supposed to swear in the first 60 seconds. Oops.
Well, I don't know. We made it past 2 minutes, so
Oh, never
I
mind
think
then.
we're safe.
I think we're safe then. But
Yes.
yeah, if you don't like our flow and how we're doing it, let us know. This week is going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past. It's going to be kind of more closer to our cover episode. But not doing music because I don't feel like getting copyright struck this week.
No. I like the show title. So we are going to change it up a little bit, like you said, and each month, each week is going to be a different style of episode. We're going to do, I would like to do, starting the month off like last week, we had music. We talked about a music artist, or maybe even a somebody in the automotive industry. So either way, it's going to be automotive or music industry person. Then the following week, we're going to do like a true crime, so to speak. Maybe they killed somebody, maybe they got killed, whatever happened. And then the next one, we're going to try to bring in the third episode of the month, maybe do a guest, bring somebody in, maybe some up and coming, kind of like what we are, a content creator, or somebody out there who has the same kind of interest in like what we do. And then the last episode of the month will be a movie review. So that's the plan. That's our calendar. That's kind of what I'm going for anyway. That's my idea. I think it'll be fun to break it up, other than the monotony of every single episode talking about, oh, well, this episode, so like I said, break it up. Let me make it a little bit more broad, I guess, but still sticking with the same base of the intersection of music and automotive car history and culture. So y'all, please give this video a like, click subscribe, follow us on all our other stuff, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, now YouTube Music, and now YouTube Live.
And if you really want, you can hit that notification bell. That'd be cool.
Yes. Matter of fact, whenever you go into your streaming settings, go to your settings, click auto download, and click like on this video. Click auto download. You can actually go on to Spotify and give us a 4-star review.
A 4-star?
4-star, 5-star.
I mean, if you give us a
Did I say-
4-star, I won't argue with that, but I'd rather have a 5.
Right. I think I got a habit of that. There's a company called 4-star down in South Georgia.
There you go. There's your problem.
That's what it is. A buddy of mine works for him. But I think that's where that came from. So I'm gonna go to two or three different things that I actually start tomorrow. This is some news. I'm gonna post it right here real quick.
Were you posting it in the chats or?
I'm gonna post it in the chats,
Oh, okay.
and then I'm gonna post it. Boom. There you go. So, Bad Dog Health and Fitness. Will, I know that you have gotten into going to the gym, losing weight, and taking better care of yourself, right?
Going to the gym, working out, getting stronger, losing weight, not happening. It's all turning
No?
into muscle. Yeah, in my almost 9 months of going to the gym, I haven't lost weight, but I've gained a lot of muscle mass.
But you lost the fat, right?
I've been losing the fat. My man boobs are going away.
Now, man boobs are going away.
I mean, they are.
Sorry. Do you know that it has been proven that, hang on, for some reason the lighting in here is off. Okay. Yeah. I'm over here in the light.
My lights are
You're
off.
in the darkness. Okay, so you know there's been proven that working out, exercise, and things like that actually help a lot with your mental health, anxiety, possibly even PTSD. I'm not going to say that for a fact, but I know that it does help with your mental health. A lot of anxiety you can push off through exercise and the correct diet. I noticed yesterday stepped on a scale yesterday morning, and I gained the 10 pounds back that I lost a little while ago. And I was not happy with myself. I'm just going to be honest. This is my, this is our show. This is our deal. And I'm going to be truthful with our brothers and sisters out there. So I was not happy. And a lot of it has to do with me. I mean, because I ain't going to lie, dude. I can put away some groceries. I've not taken very good care of myself. And I eat like trash. So, and no, that's not a plug for a certain
Meal plan.
meal.
Definitely
That
don't
is-
kind of remember that whole ad read for a certain network.
Yeah. My brother Derek, or Bad Dog, with Bad Dog Health and Fitness. Y'all go check him out on YouTube as well. He gives you some good tips and pointers on, while you're at the gym, how to set up, things like that. Go check him out. But I start tomorrow after work with him, going back to the gym. I'm up to 260. I've got to lose this weight, man.
Got to get that beer gut gone.
Yeah. I mean, summer is really, it's here. I ain't going to throw my personal beliefs in on dad bods, but me personally, I don't like how I feel. I don't care about how I look. I don't like how I feel.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's one thing that I've noticed since I've started working out is I feel 8 million times better.
Right. So my plan is to change my diet. Starting today. Matter of fact, it's not even sweet tea. This is water.
That's what I always drink on the show.
Not even beer, which beer is non-fattening. It's just high in calories. Anyway, but
That's what everybody says as an excuse.
so I made that conscious decision. I actually called him. I said, "Hey, I need your help." So he's going to help me. Going right over there right after work, and that's it.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get down. A couple years ago, I actually got down to 225. Man, it was amazing. I have damage in my neck, in my back, my shoulder. That increasingly, as I put on the weight, you feel worse. So I know it'll help with the anxiety. I know that even working out can actually help you with your depression. I'm not saying this is, believe me, I'm no doctor. I'm not saying this is clinical proven. I'm not saying anything like that. So don't take my word for it. But I will say that going to the gym, exercising, even getting out and walking around the block, throw your shoes on, get out there, get some sun. I know a lot of folks are vampires. They don't like the sun, whatever. Look, man, you got to get outside. You got to get active. You got to get feeling better. I'm saying this because I know that I have a problem. I'm not preaching this thing, and I'm not going to do it. I'll even post a video to prove that I'm doing it.
Yeah, you better get active in Wolfpack Fitness, buddy.
That's right.
I can't be the only one posting things in there.
Wait till tomorrow. You'll see.
Good.
By the way, on Facebook, there's a group that Will runs called Wolfpack Fitness from friends of ours from the Failure to Stop Wolfpack group. And there is FTS Wolfpack group on Facebook as well. So y'all, if you like dark humor and comedy, stuff like that, go to FTS Wolfpack.
Y'all post
Fitness.
boomer memes in there, and they're not funny.
I don't know about y'all. I'm not a boomer, sir.
They're all boomer memes, okay? It's a genre of almost funny memes. And then when I post funny memes that are really dark, nobody thinks they're funny.
Name one.
Actually, some of them did get a laugh. My one with Tansy, the before and after for his rollathon.
Oh, yeah.
Where he liked it in the butt. You remember that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the one when he was all dressed up in Hulk attire.
Yep.
I could just hear it. What are you going to do, brother, when Tanzania runs wild on you?
When the Tanzamonius is going to run all over you. I don't know.
So, y'all go on to YouTube and follow Bad Dog Health and Fitness. As my brother, the Bad Dog. Yeah, so the reason why I say all this, everybody, is because I love y'all. I want y'all to follow. I want y'all to be here. I want y'all to be here for my next episode. I want y'all to give me some bad reviews and give me comments why you don't like our videos. I want y'all to give me the feedback. Either way, we want y'all here because we need each other. We love each other. That's all it is. So, moving on. How was your week, brother?
It was pretty good. Worked my butt off to the point where I was just done with work and didn't want to work at all from like Thursday to Friday. So I put in minimal effort. What else? And then since I've worked my butt off, I pretty much slept all yesterday. And then today I fixed my four-wheeler and found out that there's problems with the suspension, which is awesome. But I put a whole new rear back end on it. And pretty sick. Now I want to do the front end. What about you, bud?
I worked. The operations manager was out of town all week, so I worked 12 hours almost every day. We rebuilt a lot of machinery,
Mhm.
like starting last Sunday, and we rebuilt some of our pieces of equipment we had going on, so that our ice bags could staple correctly and run through, and and we can actually not have ice made because nothing was wrong back there. But
Yep.
it's, once they go into the bag and staple, that's where we're having problems with. Found some things wrong, rebuilt the machines. Everything's been running smoothly since Wednesday.
Nice.
And I've been tearing apart a truck that caught fire. I got to pull the lift gate off of it. Pull the lift gate off it tomorrow.
Is that the one that got caught fire a couple months ago?
Yes.
Okay.
There's Johnny. So, what was the other thing? Oh, before we head on to our topic of the day, I'm gonna cover this real quick. We both know people who have served in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of those individuals, veterans, suffer from PTSD, anxiety, survivor's guilt, maybe. There is a 501c3 organization called Operation Tackle Box. There it is. There's a hat. Y'all, we're big supporters of them. But the Turtle's not in the chats tonight. That's kind of odd. But
He doesn't love us anymore.
kind of felt left to the side here, Turtle. But y'all go on their website, operationtacklebox.com, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, go show them some love. They're a 501c3 nonprofit organization who helps out veterans battling with PTSD, and they also help them make claims for the VA and help them in any way that they can. Take them out on fishing expeditions, and it's not too far from what I understand. It's not far. I haven't been there. I'm gonna get with Turtle and go check out the spot. He knows the people personally. I haven't been out there yet, but we need to schedule something where I go out there and take a little short to see their place and what they have going on. But what I know and what I've seen all online, believe me, go in there and buy a hat, buy a t-shirt, buy some decals, just show support, make a donation, whatever you want to do. Anything helps. Everything helps. And we are. Oh, there's Catfish. There he is. That's Catfish. The one I've been talking about off and on.
Sweet.
But it's been a long week. Here we are. We are your mental break from everything else that's out there. The worst thing you've never seen. Forever a Podcast. What's our topic this week?
Well, our topic tonight is going to be
I got it
on.
right that time.
Our topic is going to be tonight on 4 rockers that killed people or allegedly killed people.
Yes.
I know we both picked 2 for the night,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna roll through them and basically tell you what happened. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good to me.
Sweet.
I knew about the one that I actually replaced with the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know much about the one you mentioned. So, do we just want to tell people who it is, or just surprise them as we go?
Let's surprise them. Why not? You, I guess I can go first with
Yeah, go ahead.
my first one. It's gonna be a little shorter. It wasn't. I wasn't able to find a bunch of information. I know there's people that have put hours of content into this one, but I just wanted to keep this nice and short and sweet. That's what we're gonna kind of do for the night. Keep it nice, short, and sweet. Keep it moving. Keep it rolling, and get you out of here pretty soon. Maybe in like
Yeah, and everybody out there in the chats and our listeners and viewers, you know, I know that we've put on some lengthy videos and lengthy episodes, and we are learning as we go, man. I'm just saying, there's no, you know, there ain't no perfection in this.
except for me, I'm perfect.
All
All right.
man, go ahead.
All right. So first killer of the night. We have Sid Vicious. He was the bassist of the Sex Pistols. He at the time or later in the Sex Pistols run of it, he got into a relationship with Nancy Spungen. I'm probably saying the name wrong.
Spungen.
There we go. That's even better. And the two of them basically did drugs all the time, and it was ruining their lives. And actually, that was one of the reasons that the Sex Pistols broke up. And that was in start of 78, roughly. And then October 11th of that year rolls around, and the two of them hosted a party in their hotel in New York City.
Anybody in the chats know anything about the Sex Pistols or a fan, or is a fan of the Sex Pistols?
Let us know down there.
Yep.
And they hosted that party. Lots of people going in and out of the hotel room, and Sid obviously took boatloads of drugs. He was basically in a comatose state, is what people were saying, or witnesses were saying. And then around 11 o'clock next morning, so late morning, hotel staff found her dead on the bathroom floor with knife wound to her stomach. And Sid was found wandering the hallways, and when they asked what happened, he claimed to be the one who did it. And then immediately after was like, "Oh, I don't remember what happened." And so witnesses told police that she was actually alive until 5 a.m. And then after that, they didn't see her. The weapon that was used to kill her was a hunting knife that Nancy recently purchased for Sid. He was eventually arrested for second-degree murder. He later was interviewed by the police. Oh my gosh, my spelling in my notes is terrible. Oh my goodness, dude. Instead of later,
Was it second-degree murder?
Yes. And
Yep.
What were you gonna say?
Second-degree murder, second-degree manslaughter is still very serious crime. Step down. I'm just reading.
Oh, okay. When he was interviewed by the police, he said that him and Nancy had an argument that night. And then he got in a knife, or when they got in an argument, he's allegedly stabbed her. But then he gave conflicting stories again and said he doesn't remember. He just couldn't keep his story straight, which is not surprising for somebody who's a drug addict and crazy. Or I should say mentally different, like Sid. Basically, I did let kids Right, it me. Uh he was eventually released on a $50,000 bail, and it was allegedly by the record company Virgin Records. But people are also saying that it was Mick Jagger from the Stones who paid it. But there's conflicting on stories on who actually paid it. But he could have easily done it just under the guise of the like.
I heard that their little relationship was kind of back and forth and very extreme love hate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was reading too. And
I can't remember the name of it. I mean, I only have a GED, so
I only graduated high school late. And then after he was released from jail, he had to sign in daily to the 3rd Homicide Unit's offices. He was eventually evaluated by a psychiatrist and stated that he should not be left alone. And basically right after that happened, he smashed a light bulb and slashed up his arms and was subsequently sent to a hospital and a mental unit right after.
Let's see. Can I give my insight on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know how they did it back then. This was when did they do that? When did that happen?
This was
something
78.
When you have,
yeah.
I know for a fact. Now I can't speak for any other jurisdiction, jail, any other state or anything like that. However, in the state of Georgia, I will say for a fact, when you have a suicidal mental health issue, somebody like that in your custody, you put them on 24-hour surveillance. You do not put you in a strip cell, and that's exactly what you think. Whatever you're picturing in your brain right now, everybody, strip cell. Possibly turtle soup. Look that up. That means somebody is watching that dude, checking on that person for 24 hours until they are moved, whatever the situation is. 24-hour surveillance for however how long. Maybe it's just 24. I know that when I worked at the HIMAX, it was like that. We put them on 24-hour surveillance, and you had to sign off, and the sergeant had to sign off that you both agreed that this individual is still alive, at least alive. Now, whether he's talking, whether he's whatever else, that ain't got nothing to do with it. You still alive? Banging on the door. And you going in and you check the cell before you even put them in there. Make sure nothing's in there at all. So, continue.
So basically, he got, after his hold at the mental facility, he got released again. I think he was still awaiting trial, from what I was seeing. And eventually, he went back to jail after stabbing a dude in the face with a smashed beer bottle. And then he got released. Yeah, that'll do it. Because he was hitting on that guy's girl. The dude was like, "Hey, cut that out." So Sid was like, "Ah!" And
no, you stabbed your girlfriend. You leave mine alone. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, he went to jail for that. Eventually got released for that, and then OD'd and died. So they kind of stopped the investigation on Nancy. And there's been conflicting reports on if Sid actually did it or it was one of the guests at the party to this day. So they aren't going to. They didn't continue looking into it. And then shout out to Kendra and John. They actually did an episode on this. It's 8 million times better than what I'm putting together right now for you guys.
Well, it's not on our podcast, so it's not that great.
Okay, valid. But yeah, I would honestly go give that a listen. It's over on the Failure to Stop's YouTube channel, which I'm sure most people that actually listen to us know them. So probably listen to it again. Just give them more views. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Failure to Stop ain't so bad. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, y'all go check out Failure to Stop. They have a couple different episodes every day of the week. A lot of informative topics. A lot of fun over there. And we are so grateful to Eric Tansey for actually showing us a lot of love and support as well. So, and also the dudes over at One Morning I'm Out of Here, Chief Keef, Jason Kiefer, and Dan Carroll from One Morning I'm Out of Here podcast. Go check those guys out as well. All right, so from what I hear and what I've heard before, because I've actually, even though it's not my kind of music or anything like that, Johnny in the chat said he was a big fan back in the day and still listens to him from time to time. Yeah. I can't honestly say that I know any songs by the Sex Pistols. I'm not a huge fan of punk. I think that, I'm not knocking it, dude. They have the balls to get up there on stage and
say whatever they want.
Right. There's a lot of different, punk rock has changed over the years. It's gotten, it's still out there, and those guys have talent. I'll give them that much, but I don't know. I do know, and how everything, what we always discuss, the 6 degrees separation from the Allman Brothers Band.
Oh my gosh. What is it this time?
All right. So Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols.
Mm-hmm.
He was with him. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the chats. If I'm right, Johnny Rotten was in the Sex Pistols, right?
Yeah.
They did a late show. This is back in the 80s, maybe 90s. And Johnny Rotten's time kind of went over a little bit. And
wow, a punk rocker going over his time? Wow, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Right? However, backstage was Greg Allman, Dickie Betts. Everybody who knows me knows that Dickie Betts, y'all listen to this. Dickie Betts passed away not too long ago. Y'all know I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan, especially Greg Allman. I believe Catfish and Turtle know both are in the chats. They know. Catfish knows. Yeah. So anyway, so they're in the green room waiting for their time, and Johnny Rotten says something off color about him going overtime, and they could wait, or he says something off color about them, and they heard it, and they went chasing. They chased the dude out of the building. I was like, oh. Sorry to say this, man, but an English dude talking smack, and then, you sound punk rock up until it's time to be punk rock, huh? I mean, I wouldn't go toe to toe with Dickie Betts from what I understand, but it is what it is. You talk shit, you get hit, but they ran him out of the building. That's the true story. He wanted to talk all that smack until they were like, "Yeah, let's go get him." So there's the Allman Brothers Band episode connection right there, y'all.
Sweet. All right. So, that's where you are. What's your first?
And let me add this to Sid and Nancy's story. From what I understand, I think Sid's mom gave him the lethal concoction to take himself out of the game. From I think it was his mom, so he wouldn't have to face prison time.
That wouldn't surprise me because I know he was pretty much had a suicide pact with Nancy, and he wanted to be buried with her, and they were basically Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
in a sense, but with 8 million more drugs.
Oh yeah, I mean they did all kind of stuff. But anyway, so speaking of a self-destructive tendency, anybody in the chats ever heard of the band The Who?
Who?
Yep, The Who, not the Guess Who. The Who.
The Who?
The Who?
I'm joking. I'm joking. Little band. They might not have heard of them. Definitely didn't play the Super Bowl or anything like that. You know, definitely don't have CSI theme songs of each of their like big songs. Never heard of them.
My desk is right here, so I can't do the whole.
The key.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Keith Moon, the drummer, self-destructive drummer of The Who. Everybody knows The Who. You know the songs. You know the band. You know the music. Yeah, not a fan. I'm not a big fan of The Who.
Definitely
either.
not.
There's like
I'm
some hit and miss. Yeah.
I love some of their big songs.
There was one, Come Together with the Band. I think that song's pretty good.
Yeah.
To me, Who Are You? They did do a couple theme songs for a movie, Tommy. Of course, Roger Daltrey plays the lead in that movie. But their drummer, Keith Moon. I got a few little things to tell you. So to shed a little light on his self-destructiveness, and they were known as the Wild People. Matter of fact, to add a little bit more to it, whenever The Who was out touring, they needed an opening band, and they come across Al Cooper, who was the road manager for Sounds of the South for the Lynyrd Skynyrd. And they said he ran into Pete Townsend, and they said, "Man, we need somebody to come open up." And then Pete Townsend's like, "I got a band for you." Which actually, from what Judy Van Zandt would say, that Lynyrd Skynyrd, all the drinking and all the hell raising and all that stuff got worse from they picked up the bad habits from The Who. So that lets you know how crazy these guys are. Back in 1967, these guys, it was a tumultuous?
Yep.
It was one of those weird days to be on television. September 17th, 1967, The Who were in LA. So this all happened in the same day. So The Who were in LA. The Doors were in New York. Not New York, but New York. Anybody out there is a Futurama fan, you get it. So the Doors were on the Ed Sullivan Show across the country the same date. And they said some things and Light My Fire song and all that other stuff. They were told to change this one lyric, and they didn't, and they got banned. You got banned from the Ed Sullivan Show, from Ed Sullivan himself. Yeah, you messed up, dude. So across the country in LA, The Who were on Mickey Rooney, Betty Davis. And the excitement from the show, they were on the Smothers Brothers. Anybody know about the Smothers Brothers? The comedy brothers who started out kind of, oh gosh, comedians, and I'm trying to remember how they said it. Anyway. Yeah, musicians turned comedians turned political lampoonists, the Smothers Brothers. Go back in YouTube and find their old. It's like a sketch comedy. You know, Smothers Brothers, like kind of like the Carol Burnett show, and it's a great show. So I'm trying to get back to my screen. There we go. So the Who's on Smothers Brothers, and Pete had loaded a little bit of black powder into his drum kit. And there at the end of the song, My Generation, you know, the Who starts doing their little act, and they start tearing up guitars and throwing stuff in the air and destroying everything. And Keith Moon kicks off the gunpowder in his drum kit and had a little bit more of a pop than what he actually ended up damaging, I think, Roger Daltrey's ear.
I have the video.
Do you? Play it.
Oh yeah. One sec. Let me make this its own window. You keep talking.
Okay, so they're in the middle of their set. Towards the end of their set, he's gonna pull it up right here. Towards the end of their set, they start. This is when he kicks off his. See him destroying the set, the guitars. Thank God. Yep. Boom. Right there. So that's Pete Townsend that was right in front of the drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
And it caught his hair on fire for two.
That's wild.
I mean, they paid for their own instruments. You want to destroy your own stuff, dude, it's whatever. Anybody ever go? Marines Bloods in the chats, Catfish.
Allegedly.
He's not a fan.
All right.
Allegedly.
So what else happened that day besides the explosions?
That day? Actually, it was 3 years later.
Oh, 3 years later. Okay.
Yeah. Just letting everybody know this is what Keith Moon's mentality is. You know, wild, crazy, likes to drink. I know at one point in the middle of a concert, he passes out behind his drum kit.
I think that's usually when you know you have a problem with alcohol is when you pass out during a live set.
Yeah. I mean, imagine sitting there playing, singing your songs, playing along, doing your thing, suddenly you don't hear any drums. He passed out. Cool. Somebody come get him. I mean, that much like Johnny Cash did it. There he is. Johnny Cash passed out at the Ryman Auditorium, stomping out the footlights.
That's wild.
So, somewhere around 1970, you know, a lot of things went bad in 1970. And we ain't got to go down the rabbit hole on that, but a lot of things went bad. They go on, and I think they had somebody step in, Marines Blood. They kind of kept pressing on. They go to this bar, and things get kind of crazy. And Keith Moon is he's drunk out of his brain.
Wow.
And they start destroying their own instruments.
Rockers drunk out of their minds.
Well, this was 1970, so you still had it wasn't like it is today. Yeah. So apparently some skinheads or somebody was mad about some little rich kid up there destroying their own equipment. It's kind of a dumb thing to be mad about, but whatever. You want to wreck the show and destroy your own stuff? Well, then that's your money then.
Mm-hmm.
One could think that, hey man, I just paid for this. I paid for a ticket to come see you and you ruined the show. Now you're trying to get out of here. So in the heat, in the battle of everything, the skinheads, they're all fighting and trying to get into the car and all this other stuff. And Keith Moon's driver steps out to kind of break the crowd up. Hey, man, y'all need to clear out the way. We're trying to get out of here. And in a frenzy, in a drunken frenzy, he gets out, jumps in his car, and he takes off, inevitably running over his driver and killing the guy. Yeah. Ran the dude over, killed him, and went to trial. He was found guilty on the drunkenness, but he was found not guilty, I believe, for the accidental death of his driver. But it did something to him after that really messed with him. And I think that him being as heavy as a drinker and alcoholic that he was, it didn't help matters. So he kind of, carried that with him for the rest of his, from what I understand, and all the article, everything I read, till he passed away. Sorry. So that was, like I said, I'm not a fan of Keith Moon. You hate to hear stories like that, accidental deaths. Oh, yeah. So what else? What do you got?
For my second or for Keith Moon? Yeah, that's
For Keith Moon. What's your take on it?
honestly, that's surprising he didn't go to jail for more than just the DUI.
Yeah.
Because, dude, you ran over somebody and killed them.
I think it was 18 months served.
He got 18 months. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, should have been in jail for manslaughter, at least.
Yeah, I mean, involuntary manslaughter, I believe anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think. When did the DUI laws come into effect?
No idea.
Because this happened in New York, I believe. No, that was in England. Never mind. It doesn't count. Whatever. Why don't you care about England law? Man, we don't care about English law since 1776.
Yeah, we've kind of fought a war to not care about them.
Because
And
America
won that war. All right.
Anybody
Should I start getting into my second one?
Sure.
Keep us moving. Keep that train on chugging.
Yep.
Sweet. So, second one is actually Randy Blythe of the metal band Lamb of God. Back in 2010, they were on basically a year-long tour, a year-long world tour, playing in clubs dang near every night. They had sometimes a day in between each night that they played. And then they had where was it in my notes? About a month and a half break in late August to September. But they were just playing constantly through that year. And then in May, one of their concerts in Prague, it was on May 24th, actually. They played in this really tiny venue, and security was just crap. They had all their contracts saying we need barriers in front of the crowd. So there's, you know how concerts are. There's that barricade in between the stage and the crowd so that security can walk through. And whenever people are crowd surfing or anything, I don't know if you go to concerts with crowd surfing, but yeah, they got that little barrier just in case. And so this venue didn't have any of that. The security was booty cheeks. And so they just said, screw it, we're playing
That's
anyways.
such a millennial term.
I'm not a millennial, so
What are you?
I'm a Zoomer. Gen Z. But they said, screw it, we're playing anyways. So there was this guy who kept running on stage. And which is a problem because Randy, the leads or frontman for Lamb of God, runs around stage, jumps around like a goofy, just crazy. He has fun on stage. And so that guy runs on stage. Randy pushes him back into the crowd. Gets him on stage just by pushing him. Then homie does it a second time. He kind of, where do I have it in my notes? This is all according to Randy. Where do I have it in my notes? Whatever. But it was like the second time the guy tried to go give him a hug. Randy pushed him even harder into the crowd. It's like, dude, stop coming on stage. But the thing is, when Randy's a guy that wears glasses, and without them, he can't see. And when he played shows, he just took his glasses off, didn't wear contacts, so he'd basically be blind up on stage.
That reminds me, my youngest daughter wears glasses.
I wear glasses. He's nearsighted. Like
this, she'll go, I don't want to see you right now.
Nope. So then, I found it. In my notes. So then, third time, somebody comes running up on stage. So Randy pushed him back into the crowd, and I'm gonna actually pull up the video of that.
Pull it up for you. Go ahead.
Third push. Here we go.
Potyček s fanoušky měla kapela při koncertě více. Tady je Blight v akci společně se členem ochranky.
You couldn't even find the American version.
And here we go. Here's it in slow motion. And you can see Randy right here. And this is actually a security guard. But if you look, that security guard just full sends him into the crowd. And turns out that was, where's my Daniel? What is his last name? My notes aren't showing up. Oh, because they're on the different one. Daniel Nosek. He was a 19-year-old kid. Was not actually the same guy who was jumping up on stage earlier. And problem is, Randy was thought that the crowd would catch him. This time they didn't, and he hit his head on the ground at the concert, and he was like, "Oh, I'm fine." He had a headache, but he continued watching the whole show. They were actually, this was their 6th song in the set list. It was Hourglass, which, if you haven't heard the song, it's a very good song. It's actually one of my favorite Lamb of God songs. And so
I hope it's good enough to add it to my playlist.
It's so Lamb of God is more of like a groove metal kind of in the same as Pantera and things like that. A little faster, a little more technical. I love them. And their riffs are something else. But back into the story. So that night after the concert, Daniel started getting worse headaches, and he just started throwing up everywhere. And so it's immediate. He's got a concussion. So they brought him to a hospital. He had emergency brain surgery and slipped into a coma and sadly passed away a few weeks later.
Right.
The whatchamacallit, police investigated the death, and they kind of went off of everybody's testimony that Randy pushed the guy off stage, not that security guard, as you saw in the video. So Randy was ultimately blamed, at least in the investigation, for the death. So Randy didn't know any of this happened because he was continuing on his world tour. And
Yeah.
2012 rolls around, actually. June of 2012. So over 2 years later, rolls back around. They're playing in Prague again, or at least in Czech Republic. And right when they land at the airport, Randy gets immediately arrested. And goes through the whole legal process.
I figured that he would have known of that ahead of time. I'm wanted where? Yeah, let's not go there.
He didn't know because it was like right away, and then when you're on tour, it's like your job. Every day blends together. You wouldn't really stuff like this wouldn't happen. But the only thing he did remember is the really lax security from that night. So he eventually gets bail. It was at one point up to $400,000. I don't know if that's exactly what he paid. Once he paid his bail, he actually came back to the States, but he promised the Czech Republic that I promise I will be back for the trial. He kept his word and came back 6 months later, and it lasted about a week for the trial. And Randy on the stand kind of went over the point where like his glasses and he can't see on stage. And that was one of their biggest things. And talking about how bad the security was, and because it was in their contract that they needed to make sure security was safe. And so eventually it did come down to he was where is it? He was morally responsible for the death, but not criminally responsible. And the courts blamed the port venue security. So he went home after the acquittal. When he was in Prague, he did stay in jail for a good while. I forget, it was 5 months or something like that. So he did go to jail for this. Oh, now you're changing my name? I see how it is.
I was listening, but
you goof. So for the blind viewers, he changed my name from my Instagram handle to Mr. Worldwide.
That's right.
And so after he went back home, after the acquittal, the state attorney for the Czech Republic appealed the decision without Randy being present, which is kind of a little not cool, to a higher court, but the higher court upheld the decision.
Right.
So
I don't know, man. That's causing somebody's death like that, especially accidental. That's got to be rough. But
it was really rough for him. He actually put a book out in 2015, and it according to him really screwed him up because he accidentally was partly responsible for killing somebody.
I mean, I can only, I watched the video. All I know is, security mindset, you do your job, man. I mean, if you're outnumbered, that's one thing. Do the best you can. I know that when I would do security for the Big House Museum, when we would have concerts in the backyard, there's
Mhm.
no pun, but there's one way in and one way out. Anybody? I think Catfish has been to a couple concerts up here at the Big House, the Allman Brothers Band Museum. I know for a long time I was doing security and doing a lot of bartending as well, but make sure everything's cool. Of course, a bunch of drunk hippies, not really going to have to worry a whole lot about that. Nobody rushing the stage.
Yeah,
But
usually at metal concerts, the most you're going to get is, if there's good security, it's just crowd surfers.
right,
And if there's something that happens in the pit, usually the pit solves it. But after I actually did go see Lamb of God a couple of years ago, and during mid Lamb of God set, somebody had a seizure in the back, and Randy stopped the whole thing. He's like, "Yo, hold up, we need to make sure this person's good."
right.
And that was one of his big things after this incident, is making sure that everybody was safe at the show.
Yeah.
And I know, and I'm sure in most of like the metal community, it's oh crap, we need to make sure everybody's safe at our shows.
I've actually seen a lot of videos where rock concerts, they'll stop and be like, "Hey, you good? You need some water? Somebody get her some water."
I've
point out
I've seen it
in the crowd.
multiple times. I've seen it. Girl gets crowd surfers getting crowd surfed, kicks a girl right in the nose, and lead singer was right. She was right, damn near front row. So lead singer pops on. He has a little flashlight in his pocket. He is like, "Hey, you okay? You need medical attention?" She went to a hospital because she had a broken nose, and yeah, that I've seen it. It's about half the metal shows I've seen, they'll stop if something happens. I have seen one where guy gets knocked out in the pit and they just keep going. I was like, come on, guys. You obviously saw that. You can stop.
Get in the pit and try to love someone.
Yeah, that's not how you get in the pit at a metal show, unless you're Kid Rock.
Since we're talking about the pit and the crowd and all that stuff, it's kind of like the deaths at the Rolling Stones concert back in the day when Hell's Angels were running around. It's a rough situation, man. Man, people got to be careful. I don't know anything much. I ain't gonna say I don't know anything about Lamb of God. I know we have one guy watching it here that likes Lamb of God.
I love Lamb of God.
Well, excluding you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Johnny in the chat. I don't know about Catfish and Turtle. I know Catfish likes hard rock. Which I kind of got. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So what's our last but not least little story? I know we're kicking over an hour now, but this is a big one to me. I'm going to try to cut it down as best I can. Y'all know that I'm a huge Allman Brothers Band fan. I'm talking about deaths. I guess this would be post-concert, maybe. When the Allman Brothers Band finally got together and named themselves the Allman Brothers Band, they were on tour up in New York, and it was
I thought you had notes. What venue? You said it, and I talked right over you.
I'll get to it in a second. So after their self-titled album, the Allman Brothers Band, the very first album. Let me ask y'all this. Maybe y'all comment in the chats. You ever not been paid for anything you've done?
Like being voluntold for something, or
work
or
and
actually
paid,
working in. I did have that at my job, and I made a big stink about it, and then they eventually paid me. But no,
How far would you go? You know?
depends. It depends on how much money.
Well, this guy killed somebody because they didn't get paid.
Damn.
So Twigs Linden, and anybody who knows the Allman Brothers Band, if you know your history, he was their first road manager. Twigs Linden was born in Macon, Georgia. He was one of the first to really support the band as far as convincing the label Phil Walden at Capricorn to get these guys. You know, he loved the blues, he loved rock and roll music, and matter of fact, if you watch the movie, if anybody has ever watched the movie Almost Famous, they make a slight reference, not exactly detailed, but a slight reference to the situation that will happen in upstate New York, or in New York, where Twigs Linden kills the club owner. Over $500. It was
$500.
Yep.
That's
You
it.
gotta remember this is $500 1970 money. This is
Okay.
$500 today money.
That'd be like 5, 6, like 10 grand, maybe. Like today's money. I'm not gonna pull up. Just keep going. But yeah, that's still a lot of
I'm waiting for
money.
you. Yeah, I mean, $500 back in 1970. What was a pay scale back in the day? $2.15 an
Shoot.
hour, $1.75, something like that.
Shoot.
So the Allman Brothers go to they do this concert at a place called Aliota's. Aliota's Lounge in Buffalo. I knew it was upstate New York. So they do the set. Barry Oakley goes up there to settle up, and the fee was $1,000. Aliota gave Oakley. Barry Oakley, by the way, was the bass player of the Allman Brothers Band. Gives him $500. He didn't give him a whole $1,000 because, as Angelo says, the band started late. Man, dude,
How late?
I don't care if I'm late. You can give me my money. So go ahead. What was you about to say?
I was gonna say how late though. That's the biggest thing because I've seen people go on 3 hours late. If it was like 10 minutes late, like I get it, but if it's like, or I should say that's completely reasonable. But if it's like an hour late, like dude, yeah, you're getting money taken off. I get that.
Well, they said that they started late, but he would give them the full money if they played the next night. Okay, fine, cool. We can settle up. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So Barry walks back to the hotel and tells Twigs Linden, "Hey, we only got paid $500." Twigs takes out his 10-inch hunting knife, and he always carried a big knife. If anybody goes back there and looks at pictures, does any research about Twigs Linden, he's a really great guy, but he liked hunting and fishing, and he liked carrying his knives and all the whole thing. Actually, he was I think he was in the Navy, if I'm not mistaken. So he was a veteran, military veteran. So, kind of, I think that kind of comes along with the territory, especially being raised in Macon, Georgia. Small town back then. It was a very small town. So, so he goes up to this Angelo Aliota, is Alliota. I'm trying to pronounce it correctly.
It's okay. Well, you'll survive.
Yeah. So he goes, hey man, give him my money. fight breaks out. Lyndon stabs him. Lyndon was automatically arrested, held without bond or without bail on a first-degree murder charge. And stories kind of conflict of all what really took place. But
Mhm.
either way, Twigs pulled out a knife, stabbed the dude.
I
They
feel
said
like
it was
on-
under.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel like on a lot of these stories are always conflicting. There hasn't been really a clear cut what happened.
Well, the
You know what I
story, I
mean?
mean, stuff like that is always like his side, her side, and the truth.
He said, she said.
He said, they said. But stabbed a guy. I don't know how many times. I don't think it says, but and he died on the scene. They said that what should have been an open and shut case soon became a huge debate because of the stress of being on the road with some rock band, messes with your psyche, right? You got a bunch of drugged out hippies that you're dealing with, plus being on the road away from home, long hours, long days, long months, turn into stress, right? Going back to what we said earlier, if you go to the gym and knock a lot of that stress out, you might do a little bit better on your mental health. Anyway. Too late? Too soon? Sorry. But so they go to trial, and the defense brings in Barry Oakley, and they ask him a series of questions. I'm going to read it right off the thing here. Did you take any dope in the last month? Uh-huh. This is Barry Oakley. Uh-huh. In the last week? Oh, yeah. What about last hour? You bet. So that's what, this is what Twigs Lyndon is dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
And by dope, they just mean weed, right? Or is it going to be a little harder? I don't know my old nicknames. I know my more newer nicknames.
Well, this is way before meth, so you can cancel that out.
So it was just opiates.
Probably heroin.
Okay.
I'm not sure about cocaine. You can definitely tell the shrooms were involved in marijuana. Which
Oh yeah, shrooms and marijuana, definitely.
I don't consider marijuana I mean, it does do something to your psyche, but
Mm-hmm.
it just makes me paranoid. Ask Turtle. Anyway. And Catfish, as a matter of fact. Since they're both in the chats. So Twigs dealing with that. They found him. Turtle says, I know nothing.
So you're saying he pleads the fifth?
Yeah, he pled. Yeah. So another tactic used by the defense was the right to a jury and let the judge, who could be a little bit more sympathetic, decide the case. And he was declared not guilty by reason of insanity, transferred from jail to a mental institution. Unfortunately, and he was released, after a few months. Twigs carried on to kind of work with a couple of bands after the fact. He worked with a band called Dixie Dregs. If y'all don't know who that is, I implore you to look them up. Twigs Lyndon would die in 1979 in a skydiving incident. He attempted an 8,500-foot jump in, get this, Waynesburg, New York. but his parachute failed to open.
Ooh, that would be scary. No, thank you. No, no. Go in and you pull, and it's like, where's my chute?
Yeah,
No, thank you.
and it's spelled just like that, Duane, Dwaynesburg, like Dwayne Allman. That's so weird. In 1979, but he would. I know that they would say that like I said, during the trial, Barry would kick back and he'd just be out of his mind in the witness stand.
That's wild.
I don't see how they would put anybody in the witness stand, but for a fact is stoned out of your gourd. I don't get that, but I didn't think that was that you could do that. Yeah. See, Scott, I have a damn show ain't for you. But yeah. That's when Twizzlin, and like I said, and it, from what I hear, picked up from around the big house, people that knew Twigs, it did mess with him a lot. After that, he just never really kind of get out on tour like that again, like he was, and carry that heavy load. I actually had a couple good discussions with his replacement, Willie Perkins. So it's still kind of that story still kind of floats around a little bit. I mean, they said one story said Butch Truck would say that dealing with the things in his childhood that Twigs dealt with, when the guy kind of bullied him when he went back to go get the money, there's something snapped, and Twigs would say that it kind of reminded him of his father. So he just kind of so that's the one thing I picked up on, and that wasn't on an article or anything like that. It just kind of went off, carrying a big ass knife like that probably didn't help.
That's not a knife.
I mean, I understand carrying a weapon, something like that, for intimidation purposes, but dude, just he just
keep
took
it
it
on
out.
the inside, and yeah,
make sure it's self-defense, not
murder.
I mean, but yeah, there's our stories, y'all. If y'all got anything in the chats, any other stories like that y'all want to hear about, please let us know in the comments below,
or message us.
Or where are they gonna message us at?
Well, you changed my name, so I was gonna say send it to me at my Instagram or my Facebook, which is literally my name. It's not Mr. Worldwide.
It should be.
I don't even know how to change that, so we're gonna leave it. Or Facebook at the Forever Road Podcast. That also works. You can message us there, and we can take a peek at it. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing this right.
I have no idea what you're doing, buddy. But
There. I started calling him Worldwide because he's actually traveled a lot to do hunting and stuff like that. So I'd like to become a billionaire off of this.
yeah, you know what it was? You know how we got here with our billions of dollars? It was a Ponzi scheme. I stole money from people.
Where's
No,
my-
I'm kidding. I'm
card?
kidding.
I said, dude, I got nothing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just selfish, I keep it.
I'm still paying on my house and my truck, dude. This is not. Now I'm kind of upset.
Shoot. So
Man, that reminds me. And anybody in the chats, we don't have a sponsor. I would like to find one. That way we can kind of get better equipment. And we kind of get better streaming platform, or at least pay for the streaming platform.
mhm.
But we're working on it. Anybody out there knows anybody who wants to give us toss us some pocket change?
Give us some fat stacks.
There was a Catfish probably can remember this. There's an old car dealership called Hillside Motors in Macon, and I ain't gonna say the guy's name, but he would always say, "Well, come see us. Come get something from us." Because what did he say? Baby needs new shoes and mama needs a new brassiere. And I just crack you up. He always had something, just these one-liners. Bam, just hit him. Old Southern country guy. Just, there we go.
Well, I think with that, I think we should skedaddle on out of here. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Yep. Listen, I know we touched base on Bad Dog Health and Fitness earlier. We did touch base on Operation Tackle Box. Listen, I know drugs and alcohol are a serious matter. If y'all know anybody out there that has these issues or struggling with these issues, there's phone numbers you can call. Hell, if you got any problems or anything like that, anybody needs anybody to talk to, contact me or Will, man. We definitely, especially when you get in these dark moments. Fitness, I know I'm starting mine back tomorrow. I'm probably going to hit the gym Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays because I've got to get this weight off. I need to sleep better. I need to feel better. There's no judgment on anybody who doesn't hit the gym in any way, shape, or form. I know that I'm doing this for my own health, and I know that I got grandbabies that I'll be 44 in a month. I still got a long way to go, and I want to have a good long way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to shorten that by any. But, anybody struggling with drugs, alcohol, depression, anxiety, I know that we all struggle in one way, shape, or form. And, PTSD is a real thing. Marines Blood says he has a list of resources for veterans and first responders. So reach out to me. I can put you in touch with Marines Blood. There again, it's Operation Tackle Box. They're based out of Georgia, but they'll help anybody. So please, I definitely want to see y'all here. I want to see y'all be healthy. And, regardless if following me after this episode, after the next episode, while you're here, while you're following, while you're my brothers and sisters I love y'all. That's what it is, man. So I'm glad y'all are here. Glad y'all giving us the likes and subscribes. You got anything else?
No.
Oh.
Everybody who watches is a real one. Thank you.
So, got one for you. I said I was going to do this one. So I lost my glasses yesterday. You know who I bumped into?
Who?
Everybody.
All right.
You
know what it's time for. Outro music.
Love y'all. Peace.
Thanks for riding with us on the Forever Road podcast with Bosco. Hey, you can find and follow us at Instagram and Facebook, or just drop us a line or a question anytime at foreverroadpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time on the Forever Road podcast.